Alright, YouTube Axis and Allies brethren, welcome to Tour 2 for this 42.2 version of Axis and Allies battle between No Limit as the Allies and myself, Captain Jack, as the Axis. Alright, so this is Japan's J4 turn. For production this turn, they're going to produce 2 transports, they're going to produce 3 tanks, and we'll have 5 left over to spend next round. So they spent 32. They had 37 to spin, and they'll have 5 to roll over for the next round. There'll be 2 combat movements this turn. We've got 2 tanks from Manchuria are going to come down into Anhui and go up against 1 lone American infantry. In Szechuan, we're going to have 2 artillery and 1 infantry from Kwangtung and 1 bomber from Japan that'll have 2 movements left in its fuel gauge. We're going up against 1 lone UK infantry. So those will be the only 2 combat movements this turn. Alright, so we'll go ahead and let me get the dice set up for the battle board. Alright, so for the battle in Anhui, we've got 3 Japanese tanks and 1 lone US infantry unit. The 3 tanks will be represented by 3 blue die. The lone infantry unit will be represented by the green dice. Here's the roll. And there's 2 hits by the tanks. So the infantry unit, the US, has been destroyed. 3 tanks remain in Anhui for Japan. Japan will go up 1 to 34. And I'll count those territories before this turn is done to make sure this is right. We got 34 as of right now. So Anhui is done. Now, the Battle of Szechuan. We've got 1 bomber, 1 at 1 red die. We've got 2 artillery at 2 green die. We've got 1 infantry promoted by an artillery at 1 green die. Going up against 1 UK unit. I'll have to roll those separately. Looking for 1 hit. And the bomber and an artillery hit. So 2 hits, enough to take care of that UK infantry. The UK infantry does get to fire back with 1 green 2-hit die. And here's the roll for its defense. And it hit. So it gets a hit. Unlike No Limits dice, he actually gets some defense with my die. All right, so here we go. We got 1 chip out for Japan, but Japan takes the territory of Szechuan and goes up to 35. And they take it with an infantry and an artillery. So this is what it looks like now in Szechuan and Anhui. So this bomber has 2 spaces left in its fuel gauge. Will land in Kiangsu. And I'll be back with the rest of my non-combat movements. Alright, so for non-combat movements, we've got 1 infantry unit in Yakut moving into National Okrug. We've got the rest of this is going to be naval units. We've got 1 destroyer in C-Zone 58 is going to move north into C-Zone 63. Destroyer in C-Zone 44 is going to move 2 spaces into C-Zone 59. And destroyer in C-Zone 57 is going to move into C-Zone 58. The carrier with the fighter and the 3 subs are going to move into C-Zone 60. The fighter in Japan is going to land on that carrier. And for placement of new units, 3 tanks are going to go down in Manchuria. 2 transports are going to go down in Japan. Off the coast of Japan in C-Zone 60. C-Zone 60. All right. So that does it for non-combat movements this round. So for unit recap, we've got 3 infantry in Evenki National Okrug. We've got 3 tanks in Manchuria along with an industrial complex. We've got 1 bomber in Kiangsu. In Anhui, there's 3 tanks. In Szechuan, there's 1 infantry and 1 artillery. In the East Indies, there's 2 infantry. Borneo, 1 infantry. New Guinea, 1 infantry. Solomon Islands, 1 infantry. The Caroline Islands, 1 infantry. Wake Island, 1 infantry. Okinawa, 1 infantry. Iwo Jima, 1 infantry. In C-Zone 63, there's 1 destroyer. C-Zone 58, there's 1 destroyer. C-Zone 59, there is 1 destroyer. C-Zone 52, 1 destroyer. C-Zone 53, 1 destroyer. And on Japan, there's 2 infantry, 1 AA gun, 2 artillery. Off the coast of Japan, there are 2 transports, 1 fully loaded carrier, and 3 submarines. All right, so that'll do it for this J4 turn. From Turret 2, Captain Jack, over and out. Just one quick addendum to my turn. Sorry, no limit, but I'm actually the bomber. I just realized something. I left this bomber all alone by itself. This bomber that was in Anhui, that had 2 spaces left in its fuel gauge, is landing in Manchuria. So that bomber that was in Kiangsu is now in Manchuria. All right, so from Turret 2, Captain Jack, finally, over and out.